Welcome to Whole CEO with Lisa G. I'm the best-selling author of The Boss Weight Loss. I'm bringing you the top tips to be unstoppable. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually pull up a chair with today's top experts in mindset, weight loss, business, and more. Learn our top tips so that you can have more energy, be fit and resilient, feel unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. Fix your health, fix your life. She makes sense out of challenging situations, whether it's mind, body, or soul, by finding a simple way that gets you unstuck. Author, speaker, coach, mentor, certified functional medicine practitioner, doctor of chiropractic and lifestyle medicine, sports physician, acupuncture physician, Dr. Pat Boulogne. Welcome.
Thank you. I love being here. That was a great introduction, by the way. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. There's so much there. I like to just highlight all this awesome stuff. So let's jump right in. I know you're focused on helping people make their life better. So why is making a paradigm shift in our mind and body important?
Well, because my experience is that if people don't have the right mindset before they start on their health journey and they're clear, they have clarity in their thoughts, then they can't have clarity in their action. Because it's easy to get derailed. It's easy to get pushed to the side. And, you have like, oh, I had a bad day. So, I'm going to go drink a martini.
Right.
We all have those days, but whether or not we act on the martini is a different thing, right? It's easy to say. It's kind of like almost fun to say. And it's kind of releasing. It's just like, oh yeah, like I acknowledge that. And then I can move on. You just forge right through, So a lot of times, a lot of people don't have the right mindset. So like, oh, how many people do you know start diets? They get off of them, they break them. They're good for 3 days. And then someone goes, hey, let's go to this blah, blah, blah. Or you go out with your girlfriends and, or whoever. And they said, oh, and they want to order dessert. And you would really prefer them not to, because if it's there, you know that you don't have the willpower. And that's your lizard brain talking to you saying like, it's okay. You had a really, really, really tough day. So don't worry about it. You deserve to have that dessert. And then you have like one taste of it. And then the next thing you know, you've eaten half of it. And then the next day you feel horrible about it. And then the next day you got to start all over again. And so, or it feels like that. And I just, from when I work with people, first off, I have a couple rules. My rules is like no whites, like don't eat sugar, don't eat salt, and don't have anything with white flour. And if you make a mistake, correct it with your next meal. I mean, people have got to stop beating themselves up, because it is not pretty to put your own, like, where'd you get that bruise from? Oh, I did it to myself because I ate pie last night at dinner. But you have to like really take control of your actions. So you can only do that if you got control of your thoughts. And if you got control of your thoughts, then you can have that paradigm shift from the world is flat. Like I never can succeed at a diet. I'll never see size 4 or size 6 if you have the body frame for that, and to like, having that shift, like the world is round, going like, oh, you know what? If I just get up a half hour earlier in the morning, I've got all these things that can happen to me because A, I'm a woman, and B, I multitask very well. I'm excellent at it. Right. So if you multitask and you pick the right choices, then you'll have better outcomes.
Well, thanks, Dr. Pat. I'm so glad you explained what the paradigm shift really is, because sometimes, so many times we start going down that rabbit hole, but I ate this, I might as well eat that, and this doesn't work for me. So the mindset is step one. And what are some other lifestyle choices that our audience can take and run with right now? Because we're all going through so much with the COVID curves and the quarantine 19 and all that stuff.
Well, the first thing they can do is throw their TV out the window, because there's a big difference between information, misinformation, and disinformation. So if you're getting good information that you can make solid, educated decisions upon that are based upon not just what the government's given you, but what you're finding in your own research, like in Lancet and PubMed. And, and then you have to ask yourself the question, does this make sense? And if you have any like leftover common sense after since all this stuff started, the answer sometimes should be like, but wait a minute, like, wouldn't that mean this then? So it's just putting the pieces of those puzzles together like that. So that's one thing. Another thing people can do is hydrate. Because you need hydration for your whole health. You need, good girl, I don't have my water bottle here. It's on the other side of the room. You need hydration for your diet and nutrition and to help you digest your food. You need it for exercise because you need to stay hydrated so your muscles don't get dehydrated, because that's when I see people have accidents, is when they're in their dehydration mode. Especially, I worked a lot with elite athletes in my past, and that's when they hurt themselves, is when they were dehydrated. And then you need it for sleep. You need to be very well hydrated for sleep. You have to have. I could give you we could have a whole talk just about sleep. I've worked and done some sleep summits with people, and I spent a lot of time on that. And then the third part of it is like, you want to think better, feel better, move better, but think better. You have to be hydrated. Your brain needs water, it needs sugar, but it also needs water too. And not just sugar, it needs glucose.
Right.
So it needs those things, for that. And then you have structure and function and posture. So the joints need it. Besides the joints needing it, your tissues need it, your cells need it. You have to be well hydrated. And, so water's needed in that hydration for everything. So how do you figure out what you need? 50% of your body weight. So if you're 150 pounds, you would drink 75 ounces of water a day as a minimum.
Right.
And then, people are like, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom all night long. Well, you will if you do the whole 70 ounces between 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And by the time you go to sleep at 10 or 11 o'clock at night,
right.
And so you start the day, giving your body what it needs the most. And that's water, and really good water, filtered water that you're not, and avoid drinking it out of plastic. Because it's just so much better for you. Don't like to drink water, drink it out of a straw, but figure out how much your ounces should be, and then get a container like you. That's 32 ounces. Then you go like, okay, I need 70 ounces. So I need 2.5 of these, for my quota in the daytime. And then if you're not looking at it and going like, oh my God, I've got that much more to drink, then you can get it in you a lot easier, and then, or you can put lemon, lime, or grapefruit, but never orange. And so that's that hydration tip. Move. You don't have to walk, you don't have to go to the gym and work out for like 2 hours or really hardcore for an hour. You can if you want to, but you can get a lot of benefits just by taking a break. I always call it, go out and hug a tree and walk 20 minutes, so think a good thought, and then head down the road and for 20 minutes. And then so that you can get that situated. Usually in 20 minutes, anybody can do, approximately anybody can do at least a mile or maybe more than a mile. And then you're like, well, that would be, where are we at? My fourth tip?
We did the hydration, we did the move your body. Is there anything else in lifestyle changes that people can do right away?
They can sleep well,
Okay.
And it's just like, if and things that you can do are turn off your electronics. So if you turn off your electronics, well before you go to sleep, then you don't have electromagnetic radiation going on in your room, and you can get, power savers or things that disperse the energy from your electrical outlets, especially if there's one by your head of your bed, which seems like that's where they're located, right?
Yeah, isn't that how they're always there? Those computers, they jump in bed with me sometimes. I'm trying to tell them to get out. You're not welcome here, but then they jump in.
They jump in. Well, it's just like you have to put a sign up. But
no electronics allowed.
No electronics allowed. And you have to turn, if you can easily turn your telephone, on, unless you have a very ill parent, that you have to like stay, like, have the antennas up for, or a friend or something like that, that's something's got going on. But, you can easily put your telephone on airplane mode. And then, it's just like, give yourself permission to go sleep. Is that,
That's funny. So we need to sleep. Is there any other lifestyle choices that you want to finish with before we go to the next topic, besides the TV, the water, the move your damn body, no electronics so you can get better sleep?
I think there's a really important one.
There's
And and to set the tone for your day, and you want to set your mindset for your day, because when you think positive thoughts, your cells are a lot happier. Is to hit the ground thinking from the moment that you step out of your bed, you're in charge of what you think. And so you have to have that positive thought. So I always say, start your day with a positive thought. I feel healthy. I feel terrific. I feel, just like I feel a lot of love towards people, and think about what you're grateful for, and say it out loud. It's just like, when you see people, smile at them. It's just like, you don't have to be so scared of people. We are born to be in this as humans. We have a really socialization thing that's going on, so that we can defer other things that might interfere with that, like mental wellness, for instance, because of being so isolated and such. It's just, we have to get over that fear of false experiences appearing real. Right. And find out, what our baseline is. Because going back to basics is essential. And that actually should be your norm to create a good, solid foundation. And then secondly, is stop putting the cart before the horse. So those are my tips.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Pat. Those are amazing tips. And I really was impressed with one thing in your book that I wanted to clarify for our audience. What is Einstein's time?
I always laugh at that. I read it in a book one time. I was driving in a car, and I heard this guy talk about Einstein's time. And I thought, that is just so cool. I'm on an expressway. So I pull off the expressway, and I back that chapter of the book up, and I'm sitting there ferociously taking notes, and I was thinking the cops are going to come and I'm going to get arrested. And this is no stopping. But what Einstein's time is being in your vibe, and we know that we're in our vibe. It's just like when you go to a grocery store, or you go to park someplace, and the parking angels have your parking place waiting right for you. Right. To me, that's Einstein's time. When you go to, you're getting the paper done, and you just put yourself in the paper, and you're like, oh my God, I've got this article done, and I have 3 hours left. Or you go to pick your telephone up to call your friend up, and the telephone rings and it's them. Being in your vibe has these synchronicities that happen in daily life. And when you're in that vibe, or in the vortex, or whatever you want to call it, magical things can happen in your life. And that's when you have, control over your thoughts, right? And so Einstein's time, when they give the example that the guy gave that I was listening to, and it's apropos, his daughter calls up, says, I need to talk to you. And he said, what do you want to talk about? And she said, no, I need to see you in person. I'm going to come home. And so, his wife just passed away. So he's thinking, oh my God, she's sick. She's going to die. And he's going on. So you notice, like, when you're thinking on that side of the box, you're not thinking on the side of abundance. You're thinking on the side of deficit.
On the other side. Yeah. He
has something to do for work, and he can't concentrate on it. And he's looking at the clock, and the clock seems to be going by really, really slow in Newtonian time. And then finally, about 4 hours later, an hour later than when his daughter was supposed to show up, she walks in the door, and he goes, where have you been? You know how your parents did that when you were a kid, like, where have you been? Right. And you immediately go like, and you like, totally like get so tight that you almost don't even know what to say. And so she just said, well, Dad, she goes like, just got here from coming down. He said, what took you so long? It usually takes you 3 hours. So as he was counting the seconds, and his breaths that went along with that. Right. And she said, I got gasoline. I decided to get something to eat, and I had an important phone call to do, so I couldn't drive when I was doing it because I needed to take notes. And so I pulled off the road, and I had my telephone call, so I'm here. What's going on with you? And he goes, I was just worried about you. And he goes, what do you have to talk to me about? And she said, I really hate my curriculum at school, and I want to drop out of school.
Right.
and he's going like, he was so relieved that she didn't, we tell him that, she had some sickness and she was, was really sick, and whatever it was something that, he made bigger than life in his own head, which prevented him from being productive and getting more out of his day. It weakened him. He wasn't balanced. He didn't eat well, until she got there. And when she said it, he just said, well, I just got a little work to do. I got to finish this work. And he did what his work that he needed to do. And like half the time it normally takes him to do it. That's Einstein's time. We want to be in Einstein's time, always. If you figure out how to do it all the time, that'd be really great. But that's what Einstein's time is. It's like, when you're in your groove and everything works. Sometimes I drive.
Is that mindset how you get into the Einstein's time?
It's your mindset. You have to have the mindset, right? To go into it. Like when people always ask me, because I have done travel doc services in the past, and one year I put about 40,000 miles on my car. They go, how do you do it? And I don't listen to music. I listen to books occasionally. Occasionally I'll play a song off a CD that's been in my car ever since I bought it. Right. I just never changed it. I have like 20 of them in the back seat, but I just never changed it. And I just like, and I like it. I like the silence. And then, I don't think about it as being like, oh my God, I got like 3 more miles to go. I got 5 more miles to go. I got 150 miles to go. I just look at it. It's like, as an experience, I like pay attention to like the vegetation, and of course, pay attention to driving. And the summertime, I try to take back roads sometimes, and it might take me a little bit longer, but I go just like it doesn't stress me out to do that. I like to drive, and it's to me it's a peaceful, like what brings me peace of mind is that, because then I can clear my thoughts and I can make a plan, about what I want to do, and if it's something specific, then I can dictate it in my telephone.
Well,
that's great. It's a lot of fun.
These are amazing tips. Dr. Pat Boulogne, where can people find you to find out more about why they are sick, fat, and tired?
Well, let's explain the title of that book just a little tiny bit, because I've had people say, I'm not sick, I'm not fat, I'm not tired, so therefore I don't need your book. That's an assumption, because people know basically if they're fat, they know if they're tired, but they don't know if they're sick. And sickness takes a while to get there. So in the book, when I talk about Grim Reaper syndrome, I'm talking about things that we don't pay attention to and we let accumulate over time. So the book is a guidebook, it's a workbook, it's an advocating tool to identify what your New Year's resolutions to be, because then you can really focus your time, energy, and money on getting the results that you really want to get. And it also gives you an opportunity to check in periodically and make sure that you don't have something that's starting to become a crisis, and where your immune system is at. That's important in this day and time. And what organ systems, they all work together. But if you don't pay attention to them, and you're not paying attention to your health, then those, signs and symptoms can start to accumulate. And all of a sudden you're thinking like, I really haven't felt good, not just in the last 3 months, but in the last 2 years. And someone goes, oh, I was like that for a while, then it changed. And if you choose to listen to that advice, then you might be setting yourself up for like a bad experience in the future. So, one way you can get a hold of me is by that book, and you can find it on Amazon.com. The other way that people can find me, they can find me on LinkedIn, how we found each other. That was lovely. Yeah.
Awesome people. I love LinkedIn.
Yeah. I've met so many great people on LinkedIn, that I never would have had the opportunity like in local settings at all. I mean, it's been really phenomenal. And then people can find me on my webpage, which is called healthteamnetwork.com. I'm on Instagram by, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Dr. Pat Boulogne. And so, that's how people can find me the best. And then reach out to me. I'm very approachable. You can ask me any question. If you go to my webpage, one of my favorite things about my webpage is if you, on the drop down on the first page, there is a mic. And you can hit the button for the mic and you can ask me a question. You can leave me a message and say, I love this site. Dr. Pat, I loved your book. I'd love to know how to reach out to you. And then there's a lot of different ways on there that you can click in to get on my calendar to have a conversation with me so we can get acquainted better. And then I can help you. I can help you live longer, better, happier, and healthier, and have fun while we're doing it.
Thanks, Dr. Pat. You're a wealth of information on getting healthy and living the healthy lifestyle.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming to Whole CEO with Lisa G. After over 20 years helping people lose weight and get fit, I'm so excited to announce that I found the missing link with my coaching. Message me if you want to learn how to look better, feel better, and go faster with a master. Lisa G at lisagfit.com.